So the other day I bought a bunch of these ornament type wood slabs because I thought they were cute. And I want to make one for my sister-in-law. Now, as I'm messing with them, I'm going to have to varnish this bark because it keeps coming off. So I need to get this off my table so I can work with polymer clay without a bunch of bark dust going into it. So I think what I'm going to do is draw out where I can see I want to put my pattern or my design. I'm going to draw because I can see where the wood is and where the bark ends through this paper. I don't know if you guys can, yeah, you can see it. So I'm going to just draw it out, and that way I know how big to make things. That goes a little wider. And then I can move that off my table, and actually I need to put the hole. It's right there. And then I can move that. So she is pregnant. So I'm thinking about doing cute little owl and egg design maybe or something. Yeah, my mother-in-law, I'm thinking I'm going to make her a gnome because she loves gnomes. But for my sister-in-law, I think I'm going to do like a branch. Something like this. Just something simple for the branch, right? And then I think I'm going to do a cute little owl type guy. Not that she loves owls, but I love owls. Very cartoony owl I want to do. Doesn't need to be perfect, it's just my little burp, burp. It's a stupid drawing. And then I was thinking I was going to put an egg. Something like that, a little egg in there. We might put a hat on this owl. Something like that. Goofy little hat. So that's my kind of idea for this thing, you know. I wonder if I could even make the wing. If I put this egg closer, I could probably even make the wing go around it. Could even do something like that. I don't know. I'll figure it out as I go because clay is going to really determine. But I think that's something that I'm going to do, something goofy like that. I think I'm going to need to make this branch a lot bigger. I haven't decided if I'm going to do the branch out of polymer clay or if I'm going to wood burn him in there. You know, I could wood burn him, the branch in, just to have different textures, which I may do because that's kind of neat. But if I would burn it in, it's going to be hard to set the little owl on it, is my other thought. So I don't know, we'll do something like that. So let me first get some colors out and maybe draw a better owl so I have a better idea. Let me look up some photos and different things, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I think I'm going to do an owl something like this. Really cute, cartoony looking owl. So right now what I have is just some scrap brown clay, and I need to build my tree branch first. So that's what I'll start off with doing. I'll build my branch. Now, and I'm going to put snow on the branch at some point as well. So I may build the branch in different sections. Sometimes it's easier to bake the limbs later, and then put them together later. Now, I've never put something on wood, so I don't really know how I'm going to have to adhere it to the wood. I'm going to have to figure that out. And then I'm going to put some texture in my tree as well, because I'm going to use acrylic paint later and maybe some wax. This is totally going to be a mixed media type thing on here. I wonder if I still have my first fairy one that got me into polymer clay upstairs. I bet you I do. I'll find it. That tree that I made on there, I used Sculpting 3, and that's why at first I was like, God, I hate polymer clay because it kept breaking. But I ended up figuring out, obviously. But I'll go get that and I'll show you that tree later. focus on the paper so I don't need to keep lifting it, even though it's probably going to slide around. So I'm just kind of sketching in rough lines. Some are deeper, some are not. This may be stretching it a little bit, which is fine. I can always cut some more off. I want some nice, deep, natural texture. You can also take some of your clay and make higher ridges and then set them in. Sorry, I zoom in so you can see, and then I end up pulling it out of the camera view so I can see. Some finer ones in with my blade. Just a lot of texture, because if I'm going to use wax to highlight this later, the more texture the better. Don't forget the sides too. Something like that. Okay, so let me bake that. Oh, it's hard because you're trying to add texture everywhere, but it's really difficult without squishing and distorting too much other areas. Okay, so I'm going to bake that, not for a long time, just about 30 minutes, and that way I have a base to set my little owlies on. Yep. Okay, I'm good with that, so let me bake that. So here's my little tree branch here, and I'm pretty happy with it. And then I kind of drew what I wanted to do for my little owl. Now I have two kind of scrap color clays here. I'm going to do my sister-in-law, the actual owl, in a pink, and then I'm going to do the baby egg in like this green because we don't know what it is yet. So I'm going to do it in this color here. I'm going to put a hat on it too. It's going to have, so the real owl is going to be pink with this color hat, and this egg is going to be green with this color hat. So I think that's what I'll do. Or maybe I'll do a different hat color. I might do gray or something just to keep it neutral. So I formed an egg already, just took a ball of clay and kind of shaped it into an egg shape. And that's going to be my little egg. And he's going to go somewhere around here. And I do want it fairly big. I don't want it too small, you know. So he's going to go about there. I figured you guys could figure out how to shape an egg yourself. It's not that hard to make a teardrop shaped ball. The only hard thing is one, keeping your fingerprints off all of this. I could wear some gloves. That might help. And I'm getting all this little dust from the bark in it. Now I've already wiped it off with alcohol, but most of it's in the surface, so I'll just buff it out later. I'm not overly concerned with it. I have already wiped it with 99% alcohol, because people say wipe it with alcohol. I have already done that, but it keeps getting on it. So the next part I'm going to work on is my owl, and I'm baking these in little stages because I have a little countertop KitchenAid oven. I'm not heating up my big oven every time. So if you want to make each part and then bake them on a tray all together, go for it. I just am doing it like this. I mean, it's been like 5 hours since I made this thing because it's Sunday night. I've been cleaning the house, doing laundry. You can hear it going upstairs, doing other things other than just claying. So I'm okay with baking a part at a time, but if you want to make multiple parts, go ahead and then bake them. That's your call. You know, people will always make comments like that, like, why didn't you just bake it? Well, go ahead and bake it together. Who cares if I bake it separately? Okay, so that egg's gonna go there. Now I'm gonna make this guy. So I'm gonna move him. Let me zoom you out just a little bit. So I'm gonna make this guy here, and I think I'll start off with the body and get the body set and hardened and then build everything off of that, like the hat, just so I don't distort things. So I have a big ball of pink here. Not a big ball, but a ball of pink. I'm going to start shaping it almost just like I just shaped that egg. I want these very caricatures. Cartoonish is how I want these owls. I don't want... And I'm going to put a scarf on the egg, I think, too. A hat and a scarf. And I may paint more on this. I may decide to paint the eyes in. I may decide to paint the beak on. I may decide to do all of that. I'm not quite sure. I'm trying to leave it longer than I want because the hat I'm going to put over this. The hat's going to go like up here somewhere. So I'll make this part a little thinner. I want the hat up here. But if I do clay eyeballs, I want them kind of sitting under the hat. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do them out of clay or if I'm going to, hang on. Or if, oh sorry, I'm not sure if I'm going to do the eyes out of clay or if I'm going to paint them with acrylic paint. That stuff I have not decided yet. I'm also not going to adhere these guys together because I think it'll be easier to play with them while they're separate. And then maybe I'll bake and bond them all together at the last bake. Okay, so let me check the size of this. I also haven't decided if I'm going to paint the background or not. Or just do like some background painting. I think I want to flatten the bottom of the owl just a little bit down here. I might make some feet tucked up under there later. Coming around the tree branch. But that's why I am building it in stages, because I can decide later if I want to add wings. I can decide later if I want to do this, that, or the other thing. I can always add those after. But I just like to get parts I'm happy with when I'm sculpting solid, so I don't distort them by moving them around and touching them and stuff. Okay. Now the other part I want to decide, do I want to put a little beak on now? I might put a little beak on later actually, because I want to know where the eyes are going to go. So the beak may go on later. I think I'm going to bake this actually at where I'm at. Yeah, I think I'm going to bake those two parts. I know this is stupid and people may be like, you're baking so much, but that's just the way I prefer to do it. So, oh, and I still haven't gotten my thing to show you. I should go up and get it. So I'm going to bake my base, my two bases. And then after we'll make a scarf, a hat for both of these guys. Those I may just do in a plain color and then paint on them too. So I don't know. I haven't quite decided how it's going to work out, but I'm getting my main parts put together. So this is a mixed media canvas. This is actually what got me into polymer clay. So I used oils for the background. I used chipboard pieces. The tree here, I mean these trees are just texture paste. This tree here is all polymer clay. Here. Obviously the paint is oil, the rocks are polymer clay. It fell down behind my thing, and when I just pulled it out, I broke her little leg, so I gotta repaint that. But the rocks are all polymer clay. This is chipboard, just some stickers. So I know you can't see the whole thing, but that's kind of was a little thing I was playing with a while back. So I just wanted to show you that. I know the oil glares really bad on camera, it always does. So anyways, so I already made one hat, and I'll show you how I did this in a minute, but I wanted to try to figure it out before I went on camera, and I plan on doing some painting on it. So I want to make one for the egg, and I'm going to do gray as well. And so I started off, I had this scrap gray, and so I added a little white to it, and then I even have a little lighter of a gray, because I didn't want to do pure white for the rim. I don't know, I thought it was too much, but use whatever colors you want. Colors don't really matter. So I rolled this out of my thickest setting, and again, I don't think that also really matters, whatever. And what I did for the other one was kind of cut an area for the head or the egg. This one I'm gonna make it a little higher, so like that, just so I have some kind of rim here. And I didn't put any bacon bond on this. You totally could, but I don't think I'm really gonna need it because I'm gonna wrap this around it. So all I really did was just kind of tuck everything around. But let's see if this, I buffed this one up on my Dremel, so this one's really shiny, so it may not stick very well. I might need some bacon bond or some liquid clay or something, because my other one wasn't as shiny, so it stuck better, but this one's not sticking very well. So I might put a little, just so I have some adherence, a little liquid clay. A little bit more over here. Nothing fancy about this, except for wrapping it on. It looks goofy at first. I've never made a hat before, like, I don't know what I'm doing really. This one's smaller, so it's going to be a little harder. Maybe a hat on the egg will make it not look like an egg. That's what I'm wondering. I don't think I should put a hat on the egg. I think maybe I should just put a scarf on the egg, because then it doesn't look like an egg, and I don't want to do a baby chick until next year when she has the baby, was my mindset. So I don't think I'm going to put a hat on the egg because it's making it not look like an egg. So that's all I did. I just wrapped it around it, right, and smoothed it off just like we were, and then I took a little sausage. Sorry, let me just quickly show you what I did. Of the lighter gray or a lighter color, just made a sausage, and then kind of patted it out a little bit, and then I just wrapped it along, just like that. And then I just put some grooves in it, and then put a little ball on the top. I don't know, that's my hat. But for this guy, I think I want to put a scarf on both of them. Let's see. So maybe I'll use this. Oops, I just dropped a piece. The first gray I had. And I'm contemplating, do I want to make it round or do I want to make it flat? I might make it flat. Let me roll it through an Acosta machine. I'm gonna roll this through. This is setting 3 right now. I'm gonna cut a strip. But I don't want it to go behind because I want these guys to, that's too thick, huh? I think I need to go down a little bit. Okay, that's a setting 5 thickness wise. And I think thinking about the scarf I made of my snowman a couple of weeks ago. This little scarf that I made on him. Like that. It's hard because his hat's still raw. I haven't baked it. Be careful. I don't want to stick this down yet because I want to take a little piece here and I want to put one under and one on top. And again, I plan on painting a bunch on this guy. Just pushing him down on my tile so it flattens that back out. And then I need to decide how I want this to hang. Sorry, the dryer's going upstairs. Does that look like a little scarf? I'm putting a little crease in it. Except for then I just got some like pink on it. That silicone brush is a little too soft. I just didn't want it to look so perfect. Some people may want things to look perfect. I don't really want it to look perfect. And then maybe okay. So other than painting some eyes on, a little nose, doing some painting on this and the hat and stuff with black. And probably some little feet later. I think he's done. So I'm going to make him a little scarf too. Maybe I'll make him out of a lighter color. Just a little guy. Actually, you know what I want to do before I stick it on? I want to round these edges. Oop. I'm going to push him down on my tile too so the back's completely flat. Again, I forgot I wanted to round it off so it doesn't look like such a fresh cut. I don't know why I'm putting dots right in the center, but I was planning on painting it. But oh well. Maybe I could put some earmuffs on him or something later. I don't know. That might hold the egg shape, but show that she's trying to keep him warm. You know what I mean? If I put some little earmuffs over the top, it would still show it's an egg. That might be cute. I could probably do something like that for sure. Let me bake this off. And then I think I'll put some little earmuffs on him. And then once that's done, pretty much all my clay parts are done. And then I get to painting the little owl eyes and face and adding all my details. So yeah. Okay, so while those are in the oven, I was going to make some snow off of here, off of my tree. So I took a little bit of white and I mixed it with a touch, I mean the tiniest touch of blue. Like I probably took a scrap pale blue that I had. I probably took that much blue in this amount of white, just to tint it so it's not so pure white. And I'm going to put some snow on here. It's hard because I right now don't know where my owls are going to go. But you know how like snow settles on a tree? Now that one might look stupid, I don't know. I'm not going to bake this until my owls come out and my egg comes out, so I can know where they're going to sit and I can squish their little bodies into that snow. And then on this side, because this side's got bigger, let's put a bigger hunk in there. But I have to fit the little egg too. And again, you don't have to do everything I'm doing. This is just kind of what I'm doing. I had some color on my finger. I haven't decided for the background yet if I'm just gonna put some white dots for snowflakes, or if I'm gonna paint some pine trees in, or if I'm gonna, I haven't really decided what I'm gonna do yet for the background. I do want to leave a lot of the wood grain. I don't really know. I don't really know what I want to do. I know I'm going to speckle. I don't know. I don't know. Let me wait until I get more out. I'm still working this out as I go. Still not quite sure what I want to do with them yet. Okay, so these baked for just about 20 minutes, just so I can get them firm so I don't indent. I can already tell I'm going to need more room from this snow. Take a little of that off. A little of that off. They're still quite warm. Oh, that warmed my clay right up. I want them close, but I don't want them that close. Something like that. So I'm just squishing his little body down in the snow right there. So that's where he'll sit in. Same with this guy, even though they're still hot and they're messing with my snow. He'll sit right in there, like that. Trying to get this up to a point where I'm going to bake it before I go to bed, like that. Okay, I actually think it's coming out cute. I mean, it's kind of like a painting when I paint. The first layer looks so stupid, and so does the second layer. But as the more you do, the better it looks. And then I think I'm going to put a little bit in between them. A little snow mound. Like when people who don't paint see my paintings and they're like, in the beginning, they look so bad. And when people don't actually paint or use that kind of medium, they don't, especially with oil paintings where you build layers, or for most people who paint, you start with an underpainting, which is just basic shapes, and then you keep refining and refining and refining. And then eventually it starts to look like something. And like when I started at this job that I'm at now, they're like, my manager, she's like, every time you add something, it blows my mind. It's because she doesn't really paint, so she doesn't really get the whole concept of an underpainting and why it looks so horrible at first. Another little snow mound there. And that's what this is reminding me of. It looks really bad, all parts separate, and it looks really stupid until you start to get it all together. There. What do you guys think of that? I think it's cute. I think she's gonna love it. I really do. And I am going to use on my tree, once it's done baking, I'm going to use these Art Alchemy Prima waxes. But there are different waxes. Those are just the ones I have to enhance the highlights. So I think next on him, I want to make, on my little guy, I think I'm going to make him some earbuds. And this is this darker gray. And I have a little bit of the lighter gray left. So, what did I do before? I think I just ran a strip through the pasta machine. Yeah, that's about thick enough. And then I cut a little strip out of it. Now, it was funny because on my snowman, someone said headphones. It looks like headphones. He goes, I didn't think earmuffs. I'm in the northeast of the country. You know, I'm in Vermont, so I don't know if I said it in this video or another video. I'm like 7 hours from New York City. New York City's a lot warmer than we are. I'm about 5 hours from Boston, Massachusetts. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so, and I'm from Canada. I'm like 2 hours away from Quebec City, Montreal. So I'm quite far north, and it's cold here. And if you don't wear like I see people all the time this time of year wearing earmuffs, like all the time. But I'm assuming if you're in a warmer part of the country where you see people wearing headphones all the time, that's where your head's gonna go right off. I'm gonna make this a little thinner. I think it's too thick. My head goes to earmuffs, but I guess, like I said, it probably will depend on what you see every day. And I'm going to put the little puff parts up a little higher because I still want to keep my egg shape. And just like on this one that I did, I added a bunch of highlights to it on that guy. So, but I think a hat on him just doesn't look, doesn't make it look like an egg to me, actually. was not half, Katie. I couldn't see it because the camera was in the way. That was not a half a circle. Okay, that's about even. I should put a little dab of liquid clay. Just I polish that guy to a high shine so it doesn't want to stick. Sorry, my fiance just got up. I just... Because it's 11:17 and I should be going to bed too. Let me add some texture. Just have fun with these projects, you know? Be a little kid, you know? It's all about them being cute. Just have fun. Let yourself go. Think of cute little things you can add to your pieces when you're making little ornaments like this. Especially ones that people will cherish. They don't have to be perfect. This is for my sister-in-law. It's handmade. I'm sure she'll love it. You know? She went to the doctor last year, for the females out there. And she's 35. And she hasn't been in a long relationship anytime soon or recently, and she went in for a yearly and they said, hey, are you planning on having kids anytime soon? She always has wanted kids, and they said, well, your ovaries and your remaining eggs are not looking promising. Like, if you're gonna have kids, you do it now. And so she had to make the choice, like, do I not have children or do I do it on my own? So she made the choice to do it on her own, because she's always, like me, I don't think I want children. So if I went to the doctor one year, and I'm 31 now, but in a couple years I went to the doctor and she said, hey Kate, your eggs are looking like 40-year-old eggs, you got to decide now. I'd be like, okay, no kids. Especially if I, you know, it's not like you're going to meet someone and tomorrow we're going to have kids. No, it usually takes time. And so she decided to do it on her own, and she tried, you know, the artificial insemination. I don't think they call it that on humans, but she got a sperm from sperm donors from the bank, and they tried it that way once a month, and she tried it like 11 times and it didn't take. So then she had to do the hormone therapy and IVF, where they took the eggs out of her after the hormone therapy. They fertilized them in like a petri dish kind of thing, made sure they were fertile, and then they put them back in her, and now she's like 8 weeks along. So it's been about a year of a process of her trying to get pregnant with just, you know, the sperm, and then it took like 5 months to get in to do the hormones and the whole process of the IVF, and it's taken. So mean, it's a huge, huge thing to go, yeah, I'm going to have a baby on my own. But it's not like she's, you know, she's weighed all options. And I get, you know, if you want kids and someone tells you, hey, your time's up, like, you make those calls. So I think she'll really love this, honestly. So I don't think it needs to be perfect, but I think she'll love it, especially since she's going to be, right now she's like, what, 5 or 6 weeks along. By the time Christmas hits, she'll be in her second try. So, or way into her second, she'll be pretty emotional, I bet. Hormones. I think that's freaking cute. I do. Yep, I love that. Once I get a little face on this guy and maybe a little crack in the egg or something, a little highlight on the egg, I think it'll be adorable. Okay, so I'm going to bake, well, because I only baked this one for 20 minutes, I'm going to bake all 3 of these for, I don't know, I'm going to go to bed, so I'll probably, and so I have a countertop KitchenAid convection oven. And it's about the size of a toaster oven, but it's an actual convection oven. And so it has a nice timer on it that shuts off when the time's up. It just doesn't beep. So I can turn it to 40 minutes, go in my bedroom, and just kind of keep an ear out to make sure it dings. And so I'll probably bake these, you know, if you needed them done, just a half hour. But I'll probably bake them a good 40 minutes or so. I think this is the last bake. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to at least do 40 minutes because this is the last bake. I don't think I'm going to add any other clay to these guys. Let me just see, though, if I did decide to add a clay beak. I have a little scrap orange still. What if I decided to add a beak to him in clay? It might be too hard because it's small. It's really small. So it might be a pain in the butt. But what if I just do one like that and stick it on like that? I'm just looking for a second here. It's hard because I don't know where his eyes are going. Let me kind of draw out his eyes first. See if I can get it to mark in pencil. I want his eyes to kind of come down out of the hat like this. Right? Something like that. And then and do I want a pointy beak or do I want one just like I had? That's actually kind of cute. You know what? I should probably just paint the white in now. For the eyes. Let me do that before I go to bed. Let me grab some white paint. Okay, so I have some paint. This is the paint I was talking about a while back that when I put it on raw clay and left it overnight, it got gooey. Someone else did comment that happened to them on a brand of paint. But the interference paint and the decor ROM I used in that video that I said that on didn't do it. So check your brand of paint if you're leaving it on raw clay. If it's gonna get weird, check it on some like junk clay. Not that really any clay's junk, but put some on, like if you're gonna silk screen on some raw clay, put it on some raw clay and see if it reacts with the clay, because mine definitely did. This brand, this Arteza brand, which is like a cheap Amazon brand. Actually, I think you can get it at Michael's too, but so I'm gonna do more than one coat because it's streaking a little bit. But at least this will give me something. Should they be more round? I don't know. Let's see. Let me finish what I'm doing. Then I was going to put a center in here, a center in here. I want his eyes kind of whoop. No, I actually think I like those eyes. Oh, I gotta be careful. It's raw. Shit. I was gonna paint on a little highlight now, but I'll deal with it later. Because it's raw. Okay. So I'm okay with that. Just wipe my brush out. It's a very fine liner brush, so I don't want it to get messed up. When you're dealing with really fine liner brushes, you want to clean them right off so the paint doesn't get caught down in. And they don't get bent when you have it in a cup of water. When you set your paintbrushes in a cup of water, your bristles will get bent. And on those fine ones, they get bent really quick. So I think next I'm going to need a tiny little bit of liquid clay or Bacon Bond or something. Put a little bit of that. So the nose has something to stick to. Everything else is holding fairly firm to each other. Slightly uneven of a nose. Or beak, I should say. I don't know. I don't want it to look like a carrot. That's the problem. Sorry guys, it's so freaking tiny I'm having to hold it so I can see what I'm doing here. Honestly, I should just put something on there and then I have something to shape off of and do it again when it's baked. So let me do that. Let me just put something on it, and then I can add more clay to it later and shape it later when I have something solid to work off. So if I just put a little pointed something on there. But I don't want it to be like a realistic beak. I want it to be like a cartoony looking beak. Actually, that's not too bad, huh? I think I'm going to go with that. Later, if I want to add, to shape it a little bit more, I could add a little there and a little points here. I could play with the shape a little bit more. Let me try to wipe off any of this liquid clay that I don't need because it will show up. Okay. So I'm going to bake these guys for probably 40 minutes or so. I think that's my last bake, but you never know, I might decide to add some more stuff, so we'll see.